Hey guys, welcome back to the vlog. This is not at all what I was expecting to bring to you, but first of all, you can probably see that my hair is quite a bit shorter than it was. The reason for this being, yesterday I was sort of in a bad place. I tend to be extra sensitive and probably over emotional in the best of circumstances. I get very sensitive to comments. Even the slightest comment that can be construed as negative, my mind can twist it around and blow it all out of proportion until I completely overreact to it, and it gets into my psyche and I'm thinking, I like in major internal freak out over even the smallest bit of negativity, even something that's meant to be helpful. I'm especially sensitive about comments regarding my appearance. I've had people tell me before that they've pointed out my excessive facial hair, which is very, very difficult to keep away. Occasionally that my face looks extremely young. Some have told me in the last few years that I look like a teenager, probably because of my acne. Both acne and excessive facial hair are due to ovarian cysts. I have not been diagnosed with PCOS, but some of the signs are there, and I know I do have cysts, and I know my hormones are definitely more out of whack than average. So the extra hair and the acne and certain other things, I can't really, there's not much I can do about it without further medical investigation, and even now that I have insurance, I'm not sure how much treatment for that would be covered. Anyway, that being said, there was a comment made on a Star Wars video yesterday. I have since deleted it because I'm oversensitive and I figured I didn't need to see it. Somebody said, quote, "Not trying to hate, but you should see a doctor about that hairline." Meaning my high hairline. I've always had a high forehead. Even when I was a baby, it took about 2 years before I had more than peach fuzz on the top of my head. This is genetic. My paternal grandmother also had extremely thin hair, to such an extent that later in life she wore a hairpiece to cover up bald spots on the top of her head. My dad has male pattern baldness, but, that's, on the guy side, and I didn't think it would affect me. Well, like I said, I have an extremely high hairline. It wasn't until the last 5 or 6 years I actually realized this was abnormal, because several people made comments on it. This was the first one that suggested I see a doctor about it, inferring that it is abnormal, that there's something wrong with it, that something else about my appearance is inadequate or even ugly. That's the way my brain interpreted it. And I looked in the mirror, and I've been looking at pictures of other hairlines, and yes, my hairline is about up to a ½ inch above where the average hairline is. And lately it seems like my hair has been getting thinner and thinner and thinner. A part in my hair, it's extremely wide, even with freshly washed and conditioned hair. Anything I've tried to promote hair growth, which isn't much, admittedly, hasn't really worked. So after that comment, I sort of got into my head and was going around in circles trying to figure out what's going on. Is this something to be concerned about? Is this a sign of something bad? Is this just something else about my appearance that makes people uncomfortable? So my head kept going in circles so many different times that I went into the bathroom and I figured, well, if my hair is thinning even more than it has before, maybe I should take some of the weight off. So without telling anybody, I gave myself an extremely rough, put your hair back in a ponytail and snip some off haircut. Shoulder length was as short as I was willing to go, so I can still pull it back and get it out of the way. Nobody I told was very happy about this, but I spent the rest of the day pretty much miserable. Yesterday, it didn't take long for me to regret cutting my hair, but I can't take it back now. So anyway, that's probably an unneeded explanation about why my hair is shorter, but that's the reason. I'm oversensitive. My hormones like to play with my head a little bit more than usual. So I have a bad habit of overreacting. It's easy for people to say, oh, just ignore them. My head doesn't do that. It takes a lot of effort for me to consciously ignore what someone else is saying, especially if it's about my appearance, because I've always been extremely self-conscious about that. But I have made up my mind, until I see results, I'm going to do everything I can to try and take better care of my hair. I'm not going to be pulling it back nearly as much to try and keep the pressure off. I'm going to try and avoid hats like the plague, so there's no, pulling out at the roots or irritation on my scalp. I'm going to be trying different brands of shampoo, and I'm going to be taking supplements, especially vitamin E and biotin. Apparently both of those are very good for hair follicle health. And if anyone else has any other suggestions that don't cost an arm and a leg, on how I could get my hair at least a little bit thicker and possibly move my hairline down. I've noticed a few more baby hairs starting to grow back, but it's very, very, very slow. But any other suggestions on how to take care of my hair and possibly make it thicker would be appreciated. Again, it's so easy to say, don't pay attention to what anybody else thinks. That is extremely hard for me to do. Extremely. I mean, most of the time I don't care what other people think about me. I don't care if they think I'm weird or out there, or if it's about my personality or the way I dress, I don't care what anybody else thinks. But if it's something I feel that I can't fix, like my face or my hair, that just, it just bothers me. Anyway, sorry for the downer, but I guess I wanted to give you an explanation as to why my appearance has changed somewhat and may change a little bit more in the future. Again, any suggestions on how I can improve the health of my hair would be appreciated. So I guess that's all. And I don't know when I'll see everybody again. It'll probably be sometime next week with a wedding update. Not really sure. But I'll see you guys then. So anyway, again, sorry for being sort of a Debbie Downer today, but again, I know I keep going in circles trying to explain myself, so I think I need to just zip my lips and stop the babbling. Anyway, see everybody again next week with some wedding updates. Not sure what yet, but in the meantime, get out there and live like you're loved, because you are, even when you don't feel like it. And yes, to some extent, I'm sort of talking to myself, trying to bulk up my minuscule self-esteem. It's never been good, and yesterday it pretty much hit rock bottom. I've been able to sort of get out of it a little bit, but I'm still a little bit more emotional than I should be about something like hair. Anyway, bye.